in the heart of a dense, dark forest, where the shadows danced with eerie delight and the moon cast an otherworldly glow. There lurked a pack of werewolves. These were not the romanticized creatures of legend, but vile, bloodthirsty beasts, driven by an insatiable hunger for flesh and a primal urge to inflict terror upon the world. They roamed the woods under the cloak of night, their howls sending shivers down the spines of even the bravest souls. Their eyes glowed with a malevolent light, and their claws dripped with the blood of their victims. Among them was their alpha, a monstrous beast whose very presence seemed to bend reality to his will. The villagers who lived on the outskirts of the forest whispered of the horrors that lurked within its depths. They spoke of loved ones who had disappeared without a trace, their mangled remains never to be found. They locked their doors tightly at night, praying that the creatures would not come for them next. But despite their fear, one young woman dared to venture into the forest. Her name was Alara, and she was determined to uncover the truth behind the disappearances that haunted her village. Armed with nothing but her courage and a burning desire for justice, she plunged into the darkness, unaware of the horrors that awaited her daughter as she ventured deeper into the forest. The air grew thick with the stench of decay, and the trees seemed to twist and contort as if reaching out to snatch her away. Yet Alara pressed on, her heart pounding with both fear and determination. Eventually, she stumbled upon a clearing bathed in moonlight, where the werewolves gathered in a savage ritual. Their howls echoed through the night as they feasted upon the remains of their latest victim. Their eyes wild with primal fury, Alara watched in horror as the alpha tore into the flesh of the fallen, his jaws dripping with gore. But amidst the chaos, she noticed something that sent a chill down her spine, a glimmer of intelligence in the creature's eyes, a hint of something almost human. Before she could comprehend what she had seen, she was discovered by the pack. With a feral growl, they surrounded her, their claws bared and their teeth glistening in the moonlight. But instead of attacking, the alpha stepped forward, his gaze fixed upon her with a chilling intensity. "You are brave to venture into our domain, little one," he spoke, his voice a low, guttural growl. But foolish, Alara stood her ground, refusing to show her fear. "I seek answers," she declared boldly. "Answers to the disappearances that have plagued my village." The alpha regarded her with a mixture of amusement and disdain. "You seek answers, do you? Very well. Perhaps you shall find them." And deaf, with a savage snarl, the werewolves lunged at Alara, their claws slashing through the air. But she was ready, her movements swift and graceful as she evaded their attacks. With every ounce of strength she possessed, she fought back, striking out with a courage born of desperation. But despite her best efforts, she soon found herself overwhelmed by the sheer ferocity of her attackers. As the werewolves closed in for the kill, she closed her eyes, ready to meet her fate with dignity. But just as the jaws of the alpha were poised to deliver the final blow, a voice echoed through the darkness, a voice filled with power and ancient wisdom. "Halt!" The werewolves froze, their eyes widening in surprise as a figure emerged from the shadows. He was tall and imposing, his features obscured by a hooded cloak that billowed around him like dark wings. Impressive. The figure mused, his voice tinged with amusement. To think that one so small could hold her own against such formidable foes. Alara watched in astonishment as the figure stepped forward, his presence commanding the respect of even the alpha. With a simple gesture, he compelled the werewolves to stand down, their growls subsiding into a wary silence. "Who are you?" Alara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The figure regarded her with a piercing gaze, his eyes burning with an intensity that sent shivers down her spine. "I am known by many names," he replied cryptically, "but you may call me the Hunter." The Hunter moved with an otherworldly grace, his every step echoing authority over the silent werewolves. Alara, still recovering from the harrowing encounter, couldn't help but feel a mix of gratitude and unease towards this mysterious savior. "Why did you intervene?" she asked, cautiously eyeing the werewolves, who seemed to be held at bay by an unseen force. The hunter studied her for a moment before responding. "I have my reasons, and they are not driven by altruism. But it seems fate has woven our paths together tonight." Alara frowned, sensing an enigmatic purpose behind his words. "What are these creatures? Why do they terrorize my village?" The hunter sighed, revealing a sliver of weariness beneath his stoic demeanor. "They are cursed beings, caught between the worlds of man and beast, a punishment for sins committed in their human lives. Yet, the Alpha, their leader, is different. He is a creature of cunning and intelligence, a unique force in this cursed pack." As he spoke, the Alpha werewolf, his eyes still locked on Alara, seemed to nod in agreement, acknowledging the truth of the hunter's words. "Your village lies in the crossfire of a conflict older than time itself," the hunter continued. "These creatures are but pawns in a game played by forces beyond mortal comprehension." Alara's eyes widened, her mind struggling to grasp the magnitude of the revelation. "What game? And why my village?" The hunter's gaze hardened. "There are ancient powers at play, and your village unwittingly sits atop a nexus of ley lines, a convergence of mystical energy. The creatures are drawn to it, and they feed on the energy, growing stronger with each passing night." A flicker of determination lit Alara's eyes. "Then we must stop them. I cannot let my people suffer any longer." The hunter nodded in approval. "You have a courageous spirit, Alara, but the road ahead is perilous. To face these creatures and the forces manipulating them, you must embrace powers beyond your understanding." With a wave of his hand, a soft glow enveloped Alara, and she felt an unfamiliar surge of energy coursing through her veins. The hunter's eyes gleamed with an intensity that bespoke ancient knowledge. "You are marked now," he declared. "A guardian between the worlds, a beacon of resistance against encroaching darkness. But beware, for power comes with a price." As Alara absorbed the gravity of her newfound abilities, a low growl rumbled through the clearing. The Alpha werewolf, his eyes reflecting a mixture of curiosity and respect, approached her cautiously. "They sense the change within you," the hunter explained. "You carry a force that disrupts their cursed existence. Use it wisely, for you are now bound to a destiny that stretches far beyond the boundaries of your village." With a final warning, the hunter vanished into the shadows, leaving Alara alone with the subdued werewolves and the weight of her newfound responsibility. The moon hung high in the night sky as Alara steeled herself for the battles to come. The ancient forest whispered with secrets, and the bloodthirsty werewolves, once her enemies, now regarded her with a mixture of fear and anticipation. Little did she know that the next chapter of her journey would unravel the mysteries of the ancient conflict and unveil the true puppeteers manipulating the cursed creatures. The nexus of ley lines had set the stage, and Alara, marked by the hunter's power, would play a pivotal role in the battle between light and darkness. The sinister forces that lurked in the shadows awaited her, their eyes fixed on the unfolding tale of a village girl turned guardian, destined to confront the malevolent powers that sought to plunge the world into eternal night. The nights blurred into a relentless cycle of confrontation and discovery. Alara, now armed with her newfound abilities, led a valiant resistance against the werewolves and the dark forces manipulating them. With each encounter, the bond between her and the Alpha werewolf deepened, evolving into an uneasy alliance born out of necessity. As Alara delved deeper into the mysteries of the ancient conflict, she uncovered a malevolent coven of sorcerers who sought to exploit the nexus of ley lines for their own dark ambitions. The sorcerers, hidden in the shadows, had manipulated the werewolves, using them as instruments to tap into the primal energies of the land. With the alpha werewolf by her side, Alara faced the Coven in a climactic showdown. The forest, once a realm of nightmares, became a battleground for the clash between light and darkness. The sorcerers unleashed arcane spells, but Alara, empowered by the hunter's gift, stood firm, deflecting their dark magic in the midst of the chaos. The alpha werewolf, once a fearsome adversary, turned against his former masters. With a savage ferocity, he tore through the ranks of the sorcerers, his loyalty to Alara evident. The Coven's sinister plot crumbled, their illusions of control shattered by the unexpected rebellion of their cursed creations. As the last sorcerer fell, the forest fell into an eerie silence. The werewolves, now free from the dark influence that bound them, gathered around Alara and the Alpha. The moon cast its pale light upon the clearing, and Alara realized that the alliance forged in the crucible of conflict had changed the fate of both humans and creatures alike. The alpha werewolf approached Alara, his eyes reflecting a mix of gratitude and regret. With a nod, he and the other werewolves vanished into the shadows, returning to the depths of the forest. Alara, left alone in the clearing, felt a profound sense of accomplishment and loss. The hunter emerged from the shadows, his presence a reassuring constant in the tumultuous journey. "You have faced the darkness and emerged victorious," he said. "But the world is vast, and there are always new threats on the horizon." Alara nodded, understanding the weight of his words. The hunter extended a hand, and with a gesture, the markings that had granted her power faded away. The ancient forces that had bound her to the destiny of the Nexus of Ley Lines released their grip. As the dawn broke on the horizon, Alara returned to her village, forever changed by the trials she had faced. The people, once plagued by fear, now looked to her with gratitude. The tale of the village girl who had confronted the darkness and emerged triumphant spread far and wide. Yet, as Alara resumed her normal life, a lingering sense of foreboding haunted her. The hunter's words echoed in her mind, a reminder that the world was vast and filled with unseen perils. The shadows may have retreated for now, but the ancient conflict between light and darkness continued, and Alara, marked by destiny, knew that her journey was far from over. The forest, once a realm of nightmares, now stood as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. The moonlit nights no longer whispered tales of terror instead. They carried the echoes of a courageous guardian who had faced the vile and emerged as a beacon of hope in a world perpetually teetering on the edge of the unknown.